I'm here with Leslie Rogalski, who is the editor-in-chief of Step by Step Beads. And what do you have for us today?
I'm going to show you how, when you take a basic peyote stitch strip, which is one of the first stitches that beginners learn, like in the black and white necklace that I brought to show you, which is fine in and of itself, I'm going to show you how to add lushness and take it to the next level using fringe, which is another really good stitch for beginners to learn because a little stitch makes a lot of richness to your piece.
All right, I'm excited.
Ready to get started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I start peyote, I wind it around my finger to hold the tail end. And normally you would have about a yard of thread. I have a short piece here so I can show you in a shorter period of time.
And what gauge do you use?
I use a 10 or 12 needle, and I like to use a 1.5 to 2 inch needle so I can really hold it. The thread is a thermally bonded beading thread, maybe 0.006 or 0.008. Cylinder beads fit nicely in peyote, so I have those.
They do kind of fit together.
They fit together really nicely, and I'm using a color that is blending in with my beadwork because it does show a little bit on the sides of peyote, so this way you want it to blend. Right. Now you can contrast it too, but I have a blend. So I'm going to start here with a stripe pattern, which is easy for beginners to follow because the beads sit one on top of the other. And I'm going to go with my gold first, and you can see how I picked it up with my finger. And I'm going to skip the first gold, like in peyote stitch, and go through the next green one. And these have kind of big holes. These are size 10 cylinder beads, which is nice. And you can see how the gold beads sit right on top of each other. Now I'm going to pick up a green, that's the next one. And again, I put my bead needle point right in there. And you can see how holding it around my finger, I can really control that tension. Skip the bead, go through the next bead. Now the green's going to sit on top of the green. This is classic peyote pattern, and you can see, you can always see the stripes starting. Now you're going to go to the end of the row and back. In even count peyote, you just make the turn and come right back. And ultimately, you can make this as many rows as you want.
It's pretty colors together.
Thank you. These are matte colors, which I happen to like, and they contrast nicely. Now you can see my working thread is coming out the end, so I've built all these rows. I'm ready to add fringe. Here's how this goes. I'd like to show you a drawing of what I'm going to do first, and then I'm going to show you the beads.
So we can see a little pattern.
Yes, so it's just a little bigger than the beads.
Okay.
So here we go. You're going to string several beads in a row, like that. And then an end bead, I'm going to draw it a little bigger.
Right.
Now, you're coming out of your peyote strip. You're going to string these beads. And the last bead, you're going to string and not go back through it. You're going to go back through the beads in the stem, because this bead will hold the beads on so you don't pull your thread through. That's a fringe. That's a simple stem fringe. Now I'm going to show you how to do that with the beads.
Okay, perfect.
So since I'm coming out of a gold, I'm going to make a gold fringe. So I'm going to pick up maybe 5 or 6 of these. And usually people refer to this as the stem.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to pull them all the way up to the bottom. There's your little stem.
There it is.
Now I need my end bead. I'm going to pick a contrasting bead. I'm going to pick a green. And like in the drawing, I'm going to skip the green and go back up the gold, like this. And pull it tight. And you can hold on to that little end bead and kind of jiggle it up. That's it. That's a simple stem.
Wow.
Now there's a branching that you can do if you do a longer stem. And again, I'm going to show you a sketch first so you can see that. I'm going to draw it right next to this one so you can see the difference.
So it's just a different version.
It's a different version. You're going to have this. You're going to have your beads that you're going to string. I'm going to make it a little longer to allow for a branch. You're going to have your end bead. You're going to string down through your main stem, through your end bead, and you're only going to come up through a couple.
So that you can branch off.
Now you're going to make the branch just like a tree. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, and your end bead.
Perfect.
You're going to do the same thing. Come through, around, come back. Now you're going to come back through your main stem.
Complete it.
And there's a branch. And it's This can go on and on and on. You can do as many as you want. Here's some samples here where I did a simple fringe first. You see I have a bigger end bead on here. I'm going to skip that bead and go back up just through a couple of these to make my first branch. 1, 2, 3. It's a good idea to keep a mathematical count when you do this to make them sort of even. Okay, now I'm ready to add a branch. I'm going to pick up 1, 2, 3 green ones, a little gold one. I'm going to pull that back up. Like I just did, I'm going to skip the gold one, go back up through the 3, and into the main branch again. And I'm going to go up as many as I want. I'll go up 3 more. 1, 2, 3. You can see the needle coming out here. Now I'm going to add another stem.
Okay.
See, now I have 2. Now I just can keep repeating this up the whole stem.
Like
1,
what
2,
you
3.
have right there.
Like what, exactly. So here's an example of where I came back up and I added another stem. Here's a straight stem where I added a lot more accent beads. This stem just has a fork at the end. The more fringes you put on your panel, the lusher it gets, like some of the samples that I brought to show you.
Yeah, let's take a look at that, because you brought with us earrings. Look at the earrings. How gorgeous that is.
The earrings are really fun. I happen to like black and white. You can see how contrasting colors on the tips really add to it. You can see how I followed the patterns of stripes in some of them, and the more branches and fringes, the lusher it gets.
Nice variety.
And it's really a good beginner
Going
project.
to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks so much, Leslie.
Thanks, Katina.
Well, coming up next, we're going to head out on location.